Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Mind of Reese. Today we are going to be talking about the chakras and business, how the chakra system is truly the map and gateway to confident business action. So it's a doozy of value. I hope you love it. But before we get into it, remember, Unfuckwithable is still open for early bird. Right now, I believe that it's going to go up to 666 in the next couple of days. So you're not going to want to miss it. We start class, I believe the second to last week of May. And it's going to be so exciting. We're going to be talking about utilizing the chakras and how if we unify them, we can really create massive business action in alignment to our truest path. We create walking with our fear, really understanding how to unify and create wholeness within us so that we can walk with our fear and take the next steps and really follow our intuition and really, connect to spirit. So much more, turning wounds into wisdom, really facilitating growth and healing. This is going to be a definite implementation, not only just information class. We're going to walk right through it. I'm going to walk you through some meditation and somatic healing so you can take home and implement it yourself, so you can walk your talk, heal, and do life and business in alignment to your soul's purpose. Okay, I'm so excited about this. There's so much knowledge that's going to go through with this. Next, I do have my VIP one-on-ones to the people that are ready to facilitate massive healing and massive growth, quantum leaping within their life and business. We're talking about all of the bodies. We talk about the mind, the spiritual, and the physical body, how we take action in this material world. And we really just want to take your creative entrepreneurship into an empire. And if that sounds like something you want more hands-on with, you're ready to really get to the nitty-gritty and move faster, collapsing time around where you are and where you want to go, this could be for you. I love doing one-on-one connection calls to see if we're a right fit. And so would definitely love to see you in there. If that feels good to you, please do not hesitate to hit me up. I am looking for I have a good amount of room, but I'm thinking 2 people. That's what Spirit's telling me. So I'm feeling like 2 people is going to be really amazing. And lastly, I am so excited. So my waitlist is open for my Visionary Mastermind, and this is for all of the artists and creatives and healers out there ready to take their knowledge and turn it into education, ready to become an educator, a coach, a mentor, ready to create passive income through education. And this is something I've been so excited to be teaching and so exciting to have. And I'm inviting 8 women or men who are really excited, but for some reason I don't know why. I feel like it's going to be a sisterhood. But to all my men out there, if you are into it, I'm so down for you to come in here and bring in your masculine energy for this new way of doing life and business. And so if this feels like something you're really interested in, what this is going to be, it's going to be a mastermind, my Visionary Mastermind. So what this means, it's a small group of people where I literally guide you through your business on how to create and hold 2 businesses or 3 businesses if you own a shop, or if you're trying to own a shop or trying to open up a shop and create education at the same time. I've done it all, where I have opened up a shop, done education, helped artists through their journey through the tattooing world, as well as created online educational material and programs in order to also, hit in a massive way in the online business way, which is something that's so great. It helps so much, especially now with me. I love tattooing, but I also was like, okay, I don't want to just do one-on-ones. I'm ready to create massive impact with more and doing less. And so I tattoo 3 times a week, and I do programs, and it has helped me go from just 20K months with tattooing to over anywhere from 50 to 60K months, because now I'm able to facilitate bigger and help more and impact more through educational courses and online courses. And so this is something that I would really love to help you on the journey with, if you're deciding that mentorship and education is something that you really, really want to do, and you just want a pathway that helps you get there in a sustainable and easeful way. So if this sounds like you, please do not hesitate to sign up to ask. Let's get on a connection call. Everything is in the show notes. But for now, let's get into how the chakra system is a roadmap to our next moves in our business. This is going to be so fun. I hope you love it. Let me know if you do. Please screenshot it, share it with your friends, share it with someone you think it might be super beneficial to. And if you have the time, go ahead. Rate this podcast. And if you do, screenshot it, DM me. I will send you a gift from me. Just trying to really spread the love, really impact the most. And if you're feeling the vibe, do a thing. And I love you so much for it regardless. All right, let's get into it. Guys, welcome back to another episode of The Mind of Reese. Holy moly. So this week we are going to be talking about the chakra system as our roadmap to our next business moves. And the reason why I'm like really obsessed with the chakra system, and I didn't even realize how obsessed I was with it until like 2 years later. I began a journey of energy healing, and really energy healing through the alignment of the energy bodies that are within us. And I just have been so obsessed with this, and I've been utilizing this system and behind the scenes, even for my own health. I went through Ayurvedic nutrition in order to really heal the parts of my belly and indigestion, because I just was going to doctors and other nutritionists and just didn't seem to really align with me. And then I went on this journey through the chakra system and understanding my doshas, and just this Eastern medicine. Ayurveda is the sister medicine the sister science to yoga. And so this really came through for me in Costa Rica when I was like, man, this is something I really love, and how I utilize this is how I create my next business moves. How the chakra system actually is your gateway window to understanding the alignment and your pathways to really truly becoming embodied within your business, within your soul's purpose, and how we heal these parts of ourselves to become in alignment through every single business action. Any action that we actually take is really just where it's at. And I am on another level of this channel, this development, this embodiment, that I know that this pathway is going to lead me to something bigger than myself. And if you're following me on this moment, I am hoping that you will enjoy and come with me on this journey to how I utilize these different energy centers to really cultivate aligned action within my business. And so I look at it like confident business action through the chakra pathways. It's like we do this without even realizing it. We do this system, like we utilize our systems. And the more and more that we can really look inward and feel inward, we are going to find that our body is so fucking wise and is going to teach us everything that we need to know in order to truly up-level and 10x our business to joy, to fulfillment, to sustainability, to scalability. And this is our true purpose. It's like following in this alignment. So your chakra energy centers within the body, they keep your mind and body in balance. Our chakras are more than just wheels of energy within the body. They are the roadmap with which we can guide our business to success. If the dream, the big vision, your overall purpose on this planet is your purpose. Your overall purpose on this planet is to create, is to raise the level of consciousness. Then your chakras are the GPS system that guides you there, right? If we can use the chakras as our inner compass, we'll always be guided in the right direction. Now, I have been doing this inadvertently and realizing I've been helping my clients do this. And last year I had taken, with one of my mentors, Higina O. Silva. She's a psychic intuitive, and she was helping me open up my own psychic gifts because October of last year, I was hitting like a really weird situation. And all of a sudden I was on a plane. I was in the airport on the plane, right about to go to France. No. I was coming home from France, realizing that I know I have deeper gifts within me that I want to discover and uncover. And I know that I have been hiding them for so long. And in my body, it was time for me to awaken that power. And then I could not undermine the gifts and the strengths no longer that I have within me. The things that got me here are not the things that are going to get me where I want to go. And so this is where the shift comes into mind. And it really opened me up to a fact. It's like, I am about to invest how much money to open up psychic abilities for a mentorship like that? And it was like a no-brainer for me. I was like, oh, wow, this is what I'm going to do. And this was right before I went on my ayahuasca journey in the Amazon with Hajina. And so it was like, oh, I'm going to open up these gifts. And as I spent 6 months with her opening up these gifts and practicing on her mastermind and her clients and things like this. And it was really interesting because I couldn't quite find out what it was that I was meant to do while I was doing this. Like, I wasn't reading people's minds, or I wasn't telling someone's future. I couldn't see ghosts. I was reading energy, and I could read energy off the trees, which I didn't think was very helpful at the time. And then I can read energy off people. I can feel people's, like, they can guide me to their blocks, and I can kind of see sometimes like what it was that they needed to, what next steps they needed to take. And then I started to realize, ding, 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 in Costa Rica, as I am just living in my highest joy and in my highest fulfillment, sitting next to my sexual man and being like, wow, this is the next step. This is it. This is how you become unfuckwithable. Like, my whole mantra in the last 2 months is like unfuckwithable. And I'm realizing that Unfuckwithable is going to turn into something like another signature program along with Inspired Academy. It's going to be a big one. It's really because, like, I know you need both. You need both the strategy, which is what Inspired has to offer, and the energetics. It's like the inner work that you need to do. And the inner work is so much more substantial than what we think. And it can't just be done in a week. Like, these are practices and habits over time, these rituals that we utilize. And I even have it coming through me, and me saying this out loud is maybe just declaring it out to the world that this is what I might be doing later, but that I think that there's going to be some sort of certification program around how we can utilize how we can really utilize the chakras and turn that into energy healing, and how we create ritualistic tattoo ceremonies for our clients, for our tattoo clients, for our tattoo collectors, just because we're practicing it so much on ourselves that we get to share that out with the world and practice it with everybody else. Because this practice has been something that I've learned through so many people and so many modalities and created my own, and it's been very successful for me, where now I'm opening up and seeing people's, like, when I align them through energy healing, even when it's through a Zoom call. Like, through a Zoom call, we do these things where we go in, we do parts work, we do inner child work, we energy heal, and then then I can see what next moves that you can go from there, and then we discuss after and then create the strategy. It's like, that's a gangster. And I was like, wow, this is something that I'm doing. I didn't even realize that this is something that I would like to teach more about, and something that I even might want to start going into journeys with my own clients, my tattoo clients who, who want to go on this kind of journey with me. And so this is what we're going to be talking about today. It's really just listening to your soul, awakening to your power. As the time has come for us to remember who we are and fulfill the mission. The mission is higher levels of consciousness. How we get there is through following the pathways that intuitively guide us to our joy. Our joy, you're a creative. You're an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you love building things, you love being in service to people, you love feeling the significance of giving someone something and them being really stoked on that, right? We have this in common, okay? But we follow our own joy. I love realistic pieces that really mean something. Like, everything that I do, everything I put in my designs these days, this happened over time. I am 12 years in the business, where I have been like, okay, wow, I want to add this because, hexagons mean this, and, I want to add this type of geometry, and the reason why I add this flower, and then the reason why that, I put this particular war makeup on this person. It's like these little nuances I add to my tattoos are very intentional. And the reason why I love doing realistic abstract tattoo work is because that's what brings me so much fucking joy. And every time we follow our joy, is the moment we start to begin to understand the pathways to our truth. And the more that we can dig up the truth, the more we can understand what our joy is. So it's a constant energetic cycle that we are, lifting out and coming through and letting it come through us. So the goal at the end of the day is not to have it easy, it's to make it easy. And as you ascend, things will fall into flow. And this is what it means to be healing. This is what it means to heal. Because the more that we can ascend, we must ascend before we descend. And I'm going to talk about this in this podcast. And this is something I talk very passionately about in Unfuckwithable. It's definitely a part of it. A part of Unfuckwithable. Like, we're going to go over this in part so that you can really understand how this works, and we'll walk through it. And this is what I love about this work. I just love it so much. It makes me so happy. And so this is the moment when you gain absolute clarity, is the most blissful feeling in the world. Like when you're just like, no, you have a knowing within you that you're on the right path, you're yes. And you realize everything makes sense. Then you realize you're divine, your purpose is divine, your business is divine, your life is divine. It clears any lingering beliefs and reminds you that your truth is the only thing that matters and the only reason why we're here. And if we can commit to that truth, we will become in our highest evolvement. And all I can say is trust that shit, bro. Like, not trusting it only got you this far. Not trusting it for me only got me this far. What would the road look like if you just trusted that the only key to embodying your most blissful self is to believe that you can? Right? So sometimes following the path of least resistance is having to follow the path of most resistance. Our fear leads us to our freedom. And so we got to heal up before we heal down. All a process, onion layers. They guide you to what you need to heal next, all from the power within. So when we look at our chakra system, we look at our roots, right? Everybody has like a pretty beginning or a good belief, like a belief around like understanding, a good understanding around the chakra system. Like what means what, kind of, but for now I'm going to go through that as though, maybe we don't know. Okay, so we have the root chakra. This is our base of the spine chakra. This is like what roots us, our beliefs, the beliefs about ourselves, the beliefs about the world, the beliefs about, family, things like this. This is generational. This is genetic. This is chemical. It's all the beliefs that we have within us. Okay. And then we move up into our sacral chakra, which is our lower belly chakra. This is a feminine energetic chakra. This is the emotions and the feelings. It's like, these are these emotions and feelings that bring up, like, we have a belief and then we have emotions and feelings about those beliefs, right? And so that's where it goes up to next. And this is like our pleasure center. So sacral has like all of our sexual glands. It's like, this is the area where we find pleasure and play and creativity, and root is where it's like the beliefs and the groundedness, whether or not we're truly rooted in the beliefs that we have. And if we are, then like, depending on how we feel about those beliefs, time will tell. And then we move up to our solar plexus, which is a very masculine energy, and it's our willpower, it's our ego, it's how we take action. It's like what drives us to action. And this is determined by the first two chakras, your root chakra and your sacral chakra. And the first three chakras are all survival. They're all survival chakras. They are physical in the body chakras. So the first three chakras they're considered, like, when we think of mind, body, spirit, we're looking at it from a perspective of like body, first three chakras, because since they are survival chakras, they are the ones that make us feel the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And so when we think about those things, it's like, oh, the belief is, I see a lion, I have a belief in that lion, I have a feeling like, oh, fuck, and then my willpower is to fucking run. This is what makes me take action to run, right? But not all the time are we being chased by lions. And so oftentimes we can have the same feeling of a lion is right here, except we're looking at it from a perspective of, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bills next month? Or how am I going to pay my bills next month? I have the feeling like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And my action, whether it comes from ego or whether it comes from willpower, what kind of action I'm going to take, this is like my seat of my power, will be based upon the first two chakras, right? And so depending on what it is that we believe and how we feel about those things and how we can take action from those things are going to be dependent on all three things together. So we have to get really aware, and awareness is huge for us all. And so these are the first three chakras that we really need to heal in order for us to be rooted down so that we can continue to ascend into our highest alignment, to take the pathways that are coming from the divine and cycle them through to descend into our body in order to take, really good action from a place of alignment. And so, we have our root chakra, the beliefs, sacral chakra is your emotions, solar plexus is your willpower. Then you have your heart, which is the bridge to the physical body and the mind body. And so it's like your heart is like your courage, it's your resilience. But when we are, misaligned in our heart, we're detached. And it's like, it doesn't feel like we're connected to things. Our heart chakra is the bridge, right? It's connection. So that's the courage and resiliency. It's like, oh my God, like, do I continue on to do the things that I'm doing? I'm not making any money. What do I believe? If I'm not making any money, what's the belief about that? Do I believe that I can find security and safety within me to make that money? Or do I believe that I've got to do something else in order to make that money because what I'm doing is not working and, it is what it is. And then if the emotion is like, I got to do something else, and the emotion's like, I better hurry up and do something else, the solar plexus will make you do something else. And then your heart, whether that's courage or resilience or it's detached, really depends. Like, it's really dependent upon, like, is this in your highest alignment? So we move up, and then we have our throat chakra, which is the communication. So it's expression. When your heart is like in joy and you're excited and you're like, yes, this is my passion, then your throat is like communication, expression. This is how we communicate. This is in our truth. But when we're not in our truth, we're going to have difficulty communicating these things. It's like the other day, unfortunately, I was having someone close to me not telling me something that I thought was really interesting. And so they didn't communicate something with me that I thought would be very important for them to communicate with me. It's about money and the money that they owe me. And I was just like, wow, dude, like, what did you think that I wouldn't find out? Or did you think that, like, I wouldn't understand your situation and not allow you to have more time so that you could pay me back in the time that you needed, instead of just ghosting me and not telling me anything, and then now telling me what's going on, and then telling me that you're going to tell me later? Like, that for me is a completely not in their truth. They're not in their truth. They're having difficulty communicating. That means they have a blocked throat chakra. And when we have a blocked throat chakra, everything is misaligned. So when we're not coherent, when one part of our energy body is not coherent, our entire body, our brain, our hearts are not coherent. And then we don't get downloads and creativity from the universe that is trying to offer us clarity on what steps to take next. The ideas, the things that come from the divine, from source, those get blocked off, and we get creatively blocked because of all of these things that are happening, because we're misaligned in some capacity. Now, can we still move through life? Obviously, misaligned in some capacity, sure. And you will continue to move forward, but you'll always feel this little bit of resistance in your body, but you won't know why. You'll just keep thinking like, oh, maybe not, and your ego will try and talk you out of it, instead of sitting and being with it and trying to understand it. And so I had a post the other day about the 3 games that we play. And if you haven't read that post, it's really good. And it's actually something I'm going to be teaching a lot in Unfuckwithable. It's like the 3 games that we play is the material game, the strategic game, the inner game, the emotional game, and the energetic game is the quantum game. So we have these 3 places that we're teaching constantly. And so how we play these games, and we create alignment within our bodies in order to play these games in a way that feels good for us, so that we can always be in flow. But the moment we cut off flow is when we're not in our truth. We're not in alignment with our truth and who we are in full expression. And so that's when we'll start to feel resistance. And then that's when karma happens, and the world is trying to give you corrective action. The universe is trying to give you corrective action, and you'll get a little slap. You might get a hit in the face, then you get fall on a curb, broke a tooth, and then, you know, whatever else might happen, you get clipped by a car, then it's like all of these things are going to start happening until you correct that action. And you're going to be wondering why, oh, woe is me, what's all this happening? Or you can look at it from a perspective of what dimensional playing field I'm playing on, which is the third, fourth, or fifth dimension. And I can look at it from the third dimension. Why is this happening to me? And that's victim mentality. That's something that all, 90% of the people on this planet like live out of. It's like, why is this happening to me? And not taking responsibility for their own emotions, actions, and reactions. Or they come from a fourth dimension where it's like, how is this happening for me? And then that's like, okay, here we go. Here's the bridge to opening ourselves up to higher consciousness. And then when we're in the fifth dimension, I mean, that's where we all aspire to be. But it's like, why is this, how is this happening through me? And so this is where we get to like, oh, how is this happening through me for the world? Not just for me, but for everybody else involved, that ripple effects out in time. And so this is why I believe that this stuff is so important. Your chakra systems, your energy bodies are so important. And it's also a really wonderful way for you to really understand what's going on in your body, because, or like in your alignment as well. Because when one thing's out of alignment, then you can get to the root of it. You can get to the bottom of it and really, oh, okay, the reason why my throat's blocked, I'm detached, the feeling of making this particular decision, this emotion, boom, it always ends up somewhere in the survival area. And that always ends up to your subconscious beliefs. And that is in our root. That is in our root. It's always going to come back to the emotional. It's always going to come back to the inner game. And the inner game is the survival chakras in the first three. So our first three chakras. So we have then our third eye is our intuition. If this feels blocked, the brain is the safe road and the intuition is the unknown. So it's like when the brain is, this feels blocked, this is where it's like, okay, I just want to go be in the safe. I want to be in the comfort zone. And we don't actually have a vision to our future. We're just looking at what's the next move that's going to make us feel good. That's when your intuition is blocked. That's when you're feeling like, I can't connect to I don't have clarity because I don't have connection to a future that I desire and then it goes down to because I can't speak about it because I don't know the vision. I can't feel attached to it or connected to it because, again, I don't know the vision. I don't know which way to move because I don't have the vision. I don't know how to feel because I don't know what the vision is. And then I obviously just don't believe that I deserve or can get to the dream that I actually know what I want. But it's kind of scary to want it and say it out loud. And so then it comes all the way back to beliefs. So we're understanding that like there are different modes within us. There are different parts in our chakra system that cause us to think certain things. And then at the end of the day, we can heal these parts of ourselves and understand what's coming through and then heal them and then move on to the next chakra to heal the one before it. So this is where we're always going to find that we're going to be able to find what it is that might be blocking us so that we can ascend, so that we can continuously ascend and then descend back. Because what we're doing is when we heal up, we're healing up, clearing the pathways to the idea, the crown chakra, your seventh chakra, your last chakra that's on the crown of your head. This ideas just manifest naturally when you're ascending. But being on this human plane, we must descend as well. So what is happening? We have the idea, we have the vision, we talk about the vision, we're excited about the vision, we're connected to it, we start to move in that connection, we start to create sustainability because of the joy, because of the excitement, because of the pleasure, and then we root ourselves down to making it bigger than ourselves because we're like, wow, this is so much bigger than me. And that's how we descend. Literally, crown, third eye, throat, heart, solar, sacral, and then root. So I'm going to take you through a little journey. So let's say we've done the ascension. We understand that we have our survival chakras. Our heart is rooted to the bridge between our survival and our mind chakras, our throat, and then our third eye. And then it connects to the spiritual, So mind, body, spirit. This is where the spiritual realm comes. We get into the mind and then it goes into the body. Okay. And so when we look at it from a perspective of like, okay, once we heal up, or at least this is where normally when we're healing up, we're already on our spiritual journey. We're on our spiritual awakening. We're excited. We're like, okay, I know how to do the work. I'm doing the work. This is an onion. We're constantly peeling back the different layers of ourselves, and we're excited, and it's just, this is what we're doing. Okay. And so then now we're like, okay, now what do I do in my business? Like, what is in my highest alignment? Am I going to look out when everybody else is doing and create from there? Or can I create simplicity, stillness, sustainability within myself? And so this is why stillness is so fucking huge. This is why presence is so fucking huge. And this is why simplicity is so fucking huge, because we have so much noise. There's so much noise all of the time in our heads from social media and everything. And don't get me wrong, I'm very passionate about this, because today something happened to me that I was just like, I needed that to happen. I posted something. I was really proud of the post. And I don't know what happened, but it was low. It's much lower than the engagement that I'm so normal to. And I was like, wow, like, okay. And I was really upset by it. I was really upset. So I allowed myself to be upset by it. I was like, all right, what is this telling me? What is it that I need to know? And the weirdest thing that came in my body was to delete it. And my ego was like, do not delete that. You're better than that. You don't need to care about metrics, da-da-da-da. And I was like, actually, this is really weird. Because normally I would go the other route and be like, don't delete it. Like, don't let it get to you. But I ended up deleting it, this is honestly the most rare thing that you can ever get. I normally will be like, no, I'm not going to delete this. Fuck Instagram. They're not going to play. I'm not going to fall into their game. But for some reason, I was like, no, my highest alignment, I sat with it and it was like, delete it. So I deleted it. And then as I was like, okay, I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to cool down. I'm going to figure out what's going on. And I started to realize that post for me, even though it was of such highest service, there wasn't the simplicity. There wasn't this it was an embodied, beautiful, valuable post, but it was also very egoic. It was an ego post. And not saying that most of our posts have some semblance of like needing significance and validation, and there was ego in it, but I was like, almost like, I just want people to see how smart I am and how much I know about this subject. And it was so interesting that when I deleted it, I was like, I felt so much more liberated, and instead went online and talked about, being in your highest joy. And I was like, did that actually bring me a lot of joy to post that? Or was it only going to bring me joy if? And I was like, and I realized that so when I sat with this and felt the feeling within my body, normally it's in our like gut, or like I get a little nausea if I'm feeling a little like, this doesn't excite me. This is making me feel off. It's making me feel disconnected in my heart. It's making my like throat hurt. So I'm feeling like not expressed in my truth. And I was like, okay, so the parts of me that feel doubt about myself, that's where I need to go. That's my solar plexus. That's the part of me that wants to like run away. The part of me that's the ego that's like, okay, fight, flight, or freeze kind of vibe. And so I was like, let me sit with this feeling. And as I started to sit with it, I started to heal it. It started to show me, and this is when I healed this one part of my entire chakra system. Not saying that they're all completely healed all the time. I am human. I go through things, and I will continuously go through things, and that's just the way it works when I asked to be on this human experience. So it's like I healed this one part, and all of a sudden, the download, I received the message from Spirit saying, are you in your highest joy? And I was like, oh. And it said, if you were in your highest joy, then it wouldn't matter and you wouldn't have checked. And I was like, interesting. So me being in my highest joy, really, it that was like paraphrasing, but it was more on the sense of like, are you doing what makes you fucking super stoked and happy? Does this feel fucking amazing? And in my body, I could tell myself the truth, and that's my expression. So I saw the thing. I saw what I needed to do next, and I was like, okay, what is my joy? And so it showed me the vision, not just the vision of like putting a really good post out, but it's really just being like in dance mode. And honestly, it was like all of a sudden just started like me dancing and just being like, Unfuckwithable means shedding all of the fucks. And that's what I downloaded. And I was like, wow, that's the post I'm supposed to be making. And so I'm like, wow, okay, I'm going to make that post instead. And I felt the expression in my throat be like, oh, the only reason why you found joy in it was if you were going to get something out of it. And we don't create things to get something out of it. And I fall into this trap all of the time. I fall into it all of the time. And I am in the middle of a launch. And so in real time, I'm going through this thing and I'm like, oh, wow, this is the reason why that's the reason why my throat feels tired. That's the reason why my throat feels like exhausted. So it's like we're going down into my throat and my expression is like, I don't need to talk, like, don't even say anything else, be about it. And that was like, wow. And then my heart started to go excited. And then this is what's making me move. So all of a sudden I created a new piece of content. I was like creating new content. And then I was like creating the joy and the creativity. And it was literally a post that took me 5 seconds to think up and to actually make, because I have things of me dancing and I can create a quick dance video really quick. And I was like, oh my God, like that is in my highest joy. I downloaded all of that through healing a part of me. So it's like all we're doing is we're taking action, and whatever happens happens and how we react to that, how the reaction happens is like, that's the place we get to heal. Okay, so I healed the part of myself that felt the doubt. There was a feeling in my belly, well, like I'm not good enough. And I was like, oh, okay, let me heal these parts of myself. Let me sit with this. Let me sit with it. Let me let it alchemize. Let me process. And then what happened? I realigned, and then I downloaded a whole new thing. And whether or not that, is the kicker thing that makes everything work, it doesn't matter. The thing is that I'm following in my highest joy, which is in my highest alignment, which people experiencing me in my joy is going to be more of service to this planet than me explaining to them what they should be doing or what they shouldn't be doing. Education is wonderful, but at the end of the day, it's always going to be the experience of my energy that people are going to vibe well with and the reasons why they are here. If you have been told that your business is there for you for some energetic reason, they're like, oh my God, I just love your vibe, then you are in a different business, baby. You're in an energetic business, and you need to start playing a different game. And that's, for me, was just a sure sign that was the universe taking corrective action. She's like, Reese, you spent hours on this post. It's a beautiful post, and you should definitely post it. But I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm going to show you. And with that, she showed me through, the algorithm and then how it made me feel. And I was like, oh, wow. Because sometimes like I'll post something that I was like totally in my joy and it still doesn't do well. And I'm like, but it was so me and I fucking love that post. So don't give a shit, And so then this moment when I didn't feel that same way, I was like, okay, there's something here. I am being called to rise. Okay, so this is what I mean about being able to understand. And then when we can get an understanding around it, for me, I like to make everything really simple. I like to simplify things in order to, I think I'm really good at that. I think I'm really good at simplifying things and creating formulas around them so that people can take them away and be like, oh, I totally get what's going on inside of me. Like I couldn't quite understand and put it into words. So I really truly believe that that's definitely one of my superpowers, and it's something that I have cultivated over time. It's a skill. I had to create that skill. I had to hone that skill. It's something that I believe everybody can do. You're doing it right now by learning how to create better processes in your tattoo work, create better processes in your artwork, create better processes as a coach. If you're a coach listening to this, if you're an educator listening to this, it's like you're creating better processes, and you just have to, you get better over time. Okay, so the idea is we heal up, we ascend, and then we descend. So when we're talking about our business, like I totally showed you through the story, through the content, right? I had a problem. I went inward. I focused in the area that it was feeling off. I allowed that feeling to be. I alchemized it, processing it, and then I regained alignment. And then what happened? I downloaded a new idea. So this is what happens in our business. And we can actually, when we sit with things, when we have stillness, we can hear the messages of the divine. So our crown chakra, right? We are on a spiritual journey. So we're ascending, we're healing the parts, and we're ascending up. So we're in the crown chakra. This is the idea phase. This is the download. This is getting the idea. This is a cosmic upgrade. This is what happens. We get an idea through our crown chakra. And then that crown, the idea comes into our third eye. This is our perceptors. This is our prefrontal cortex. It's our perception brain. It's a perception. It opens up to the perception. It gives us a vision. So anytime we have a thought, it creates a vision here in our brain, right? This is the third eye. That's why they call it the third eye, the prefrontal cortex. It's the intuition. This is where you determine if this idea is the right time to take it on. Now, the only time you will be in your highest alignment is because you have total free will. But when you get an idea and it like lights you the fuck up, but also is edgy as fuck, it's normally proceed. But whatever we believe about ourselves, so this will end up when we get the vision, and then it'll go straight down. The vision will go straight down into our first three chakras to understand, what do we believe about ourselves? Our safety relies on our root. How do we feel about that belief? And what action are we going to take based off that idea and belief? So if we have not paid attention to what it is going on in our first three chakras, like for me, I had to sit with the feeling of me feeling doubt and feeling not good enough. And I was like, whoa, I believe that. And really accept that. I got aware of it. I accepted it. I alchemized it. I aligned. And then I took action. So these are the 5 things that I'll be talking about as well in Unfuckwithable, and how we can really strengthen the 5 A's. But it's like, this is where we find ourselves to like, okay, I've got the idea, I've got the vision, but what do I believe about this vision? Do I actually believe that I can get myself there? The security and safety, that's the root chakra. What's the belief? Or am I going to be like, I'm unsafe? The reason why people feel ungrounded is because they feel unsafe. I feel unsafe here in this space, in this community, in this place, because of whatever past experiences I've had. This is what's going to show you that. So it's like, okay, if my vision, I have the vision, but let's say we are healing ourselves. We have the vision. It's like a big vision. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's really different. Like, I've never posted a dancing video before. That's weird. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. You know what I mean? Or posted something of that nature. Okay, proceed. Thanks for the idea. I'm going to keep going with it. I'm going to determine if this is the right time to take action on it, or do I just write it down and maybe take action on it later? Both are totally your sovereign choice. Then it goes down to the throat. So if I have a vision and I start talking about it or start writing it down, this is me getting myself excited about it. I'm like, oh, I'm being in my, I like unfuckwithable. The act of shedding all of the fucks. Like, I was like, that's awesome. Like, thank you, spirit. That was beautiful. I love that. So I'm like, yeah, that actually feels really good in my body. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to write about it. That goes into my heart. When I write about it and express myself, I'm talking about the idea. This fuels the passion in the idea, right? So the heart fuels the passion. Then it bridges to the body. This is where I'm going to take action. So the solar plexus means that I'm in the embodiment phase. I'm like, yes, I'm embodied. I'm not afraid. I'm ready. This is where I create time and take action on my idea. And the sacral and enjoyment, this is the enjoyment and receivership. This is the joy, the gratitude, the creativity. This is where I make the things that I do. Wow, this brought me so much joy. How can I make this more sustainable? How can I make this, like really make the doing really fun? So it's like, oh, okay, I get to do this. Like sometimes when we're looking at our overall business, when I think about this, I'm like, okay, my crown idea is like, I got an idea for that I want to be a tattoo artist. My third eye is like, I can see myself, how I'm going to become a tattoo artist, these things. And I'm a tattoo artist. Throat chakras, I'm going to be talking about it. My heart is going to fuel my passion to go out there and really like do the thing. And then it's like, solar, we take the action. Sacral, it's like, okay, how can I make this enjoyable? I know that a tattoo business involves so much more than just tattooing. It involves the drawing, it involves the management, it involves so much more. So how can I make all of this really sustainable and really fun for me to do so that I know I'm always going to want to do it? That's the reason why when I'm talking about like finding your niche style is always going to be faster and more sustainable for your growth in your business because you fucking love doing it. Yeah, now all the parts of your business you're going to love, but this part will drive you to do what you love. And then the rest, you'll figure out who needs to help you do it, not how. Not the how, but the who. And then you'll create the sustainability from it. And from there, that's when you go into your root chakra, you're anchoring, you're birthing a whole movement. So when we root into like our anchor here, it's like, oh, it's not just for me, it's we energy. So whenever we are descending down, we are putting our roots into the ground. We're literally spreading roots in the ground like a tree and touching everything in the mycelium, which is the mushrooms and everything that touches the planet. Every planet, every piece of land, it's all connected through these tree roots and through the mycelium. And so it's like, wow, we're actually the thing that I thought of, the thing that I created, the idea that came through me, the thing that I literally went all the way down through my chakra system. Now I'm creating scalability. Now I'm creating a movement. Now I'm doing something bigger than me. That ends up in your root. Because we had the big idea. We're like, cool, I'm being a tattoo artist. I've decided that I'm going to do it in this way so it's sustainable. So I'm going to choose this style. But now I'm like, wow, I love it so much. I just want it to be out there. I'm creating a whole movement. What do I believe about tattooing? It's transformational work. It's something to change. It's the fullest expression of people's selves. It's being able to feel really good and confident in their own bodies again. It's like feeling like they are themselves a little bit more because they get to express it outwardly on a physical aspect. And so that's the root of it all. So for you, whatever you do, this is how all of these things work. And so for me, it's like this is the same thing. It's either for like for the big business, the big picture, or it's for a little thing, like the little piece of content that I wanted to create. And that was it. And it was just like, wow, this is how all the downloads happen. And this is how I can create something that's so much bigger than me. All from one piece of content. One little piece of content did every little thing. It touched on every single part of my chakra system. And I created a piece of content that wasn't in alignment. And it was really clear because I felt it in my body. I felt it in my chakra system. And since I know, when it's in my survival chakra systems, the first three, and if it's in my solar and my sacral, then obviously I'm doing something that took a really long time. It actually started to hurt my eyes. I did notice that my eyes were hurting. When I think back, I was like, wow, my eyes were hurting creating this. It's still a beautiful piece of content. Doesn't mean I'm not going to post it. But it may mean that I was just like, it was not meant to be birthed in the way that it was. It was a little bit forced, even though it's a beautiful piece of content and it's very embodied. I was like, okay, this did feel a little bit more forceful. Doesn't that means that I'm, maybe taking a step back but my whole mission these days that I have basically contracted with the divine, with source, is that I want to be in my highest enjoyment, my highest alignment, my highest fulfillment, because I've already done the hustle and bustle and overwork and overwhelm and emotional misery to my wealth. Like I don't want to be emotionally poor on the way to my wealth. Like I want to hold richness at all levels. And so that when, I want to know that I'm wealthy before I'm rich. And so that when my richness comes, it's coming just to amplify my whole heart and my whole soul in the thing that I'm doing. And I've already done the other way, which you can do. You can still be very rich, but you might be emotionally poor, which is something that, whatever amount of money you get will never be sustainable and will never be able to fulfill you, because you're like, oh, well, I did all of these things and all of these things, I have to continue to do for the rest of my fucking life because this is the only way I know how to do it. And it's like, if I try any other way, then I don't believe that I can continue on this path. That's not sustainable. And that's a path that I was on. And when I realized that there was a different path, and I didn't have any evidence of it yet, but I was like, no, but this feels good in my heart. That was the download I received. This is what allowed me to create and anchor safety within myself. And when we can do that within ourselves, then we become embodied. And then when we are so rooted in who we are, in our truth, we are always going to create a movement that's outside and so much bigger than ourselves, because we're no longer explaining ourselves. I no longer have to explain to you what I do. I just am. I just express it. No more explaining. I'm only expressing. And when we can get out of the idea of explaining ourselves and just start expressing ourselves, and everybody's seeing you in your highest vibration and your highest joy, you are doing so much more of a service to this planet by doing it that way, because they are going to witness you in that, and they are going to be guided to do that as well. And to truly be an example, you have to be brave. Being an example, going first, is bravery. And so for me, it's like little things, big things, little pieces of content that affect me, big things like my whole entire business and what's going on in there. It's always going to come back to how I'm anchored and secure and safe within me, what I believe about myself, how I feel about myself, and my identity, which is my ego. Like, what do I identify as? I identify as a woman who believes that can do business a different way from feminine energetics, from like feminine embodiment, and not just from the hustle and bustle. I no longer identify as workaholic. I no longer identify as, sleep when I'm dead mentality. I truly believe that there is another way. And if I'm going to be the embodiment of that identity, if I'm going to say I am wealth as opposed to I want wealth, or I am happiness over I want happiness, then I am going to be corrected in corrective action, because I've signed that contract with the universe. I declared it. I said, this is what I am. And the universe is like, bet. All right. I'll correct you every time you step out of alignment to the thing that you want so badly, to the person you desire to be. I will show you. And that will be the fastest corrective action that you will ever get from the universe, because you've decided. And you know what? The universe is like, bet. But at the same time, the universe is like, even if that's not your goal, I'm still going to try and get you on the path, because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to guide you. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, not a human being having a spiritual experience. We got to remember that. We are completely connected to the divine, and completely connected to each other, and completely connected to one consciousness. Like, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So connect. Feel the feelings, understand, be aware of them, accept them, alchemize them, realign yourself, and then take the action. Take the aligned, inspired action that'll drive you to the direction of your highest fucking alignment. And that's what you will create. When you do that, that's expression. That is a service business. You're no longer guided by trying to micromanage how people see you. You're no longer an image-based business. And I get caught up in both. And as a spiritual being having a human experience, that's what I asked for. That's what I asked for. That's what my soul asked for when she decided to come into this body and be like, all right, we're doing this again. Let's see if they remember this time. It's like, and I feel like that since I am in my 30s, I'm starting to remember my past lives. Like, I truly believe that. I truly believe that this new shift in people's consciousness, how young people are jumping on these spiritual journeys, how many, there's so many, that the world is shifting, and I can feel it, and everybody can feel it. A lot of people can feel it. I even listening to a podcast with a woman that I was like, Marie Forleo, been listening to her for years, and she's never been really spiritual. She has in some capacity, but like just recently she's been like on another level, and I'm starting to notice, and she's 47, and she's starting to notice all the young people doing the same thing, and it's like there's a shift, there's a paradigm shift happening in the world, and it's like beautiful. So I feel like by me doing this, by me being so young, and by others even younger than I am are seeing this, it's really what's happening is we are remembering. It's not that we are learning something new, is we are remembering all of the things that we have done in our past lives that have got us to this point. And that's all that matters. It's like we are put on this planet to remember what it is we've done so that we can live renewed. But we also get free will. The universe will guide you, but you can always take the other path. And that's the thing, is that like I now that I think back, going back to this post, my throat was hurting. My eyes were hurting. My headache, I get ocular headaches lately. And I've noticed that that's the sign from the universe that I am overthinking, overdoing it. And it's funny because there are only sometimes it happens. And sometimes it does it when I'm staring at my iPad doing a design and I'm like, getting frustrated, I'll get an ocular headache. But I can stare at that iPad 8 hours a day when I'm tattooing, has no problem. And so it's really interesting that my physical body is going to let me know, to give me corrective action on what I need to do. Now I just listen. Before I would fight through it, let's just get it done. No, the moment I start having it, I stop. But today I didn't. I was like, wow, I was writing this post and it was really beautiful. It came to me really beautiful for me yesterday. And I said I wasn't going to post, and this is huge for me, guys. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Reese, it's not that big of a deal not to post. You're talking to a woman that relied solely on the validity of what other people thought of her, as a way, as currency to believe my own significance. And it is the biggest reason why I would get naked in front of a camera. I just wanted people to think how smart I am. I wanted people to think how good of tattoos I did. So I stole tattoo photos that weren't even mine. And I felt so unworthy. So for me, social media is a healing journey. And it creates the biggest healing journey if you decide to look at it that way. So having posted this post, going back to the story, having posted this post and realizing, there were all these little signs and signals that the universe was trying to throw at me that this wasn't right for me right now. Like, it could be an undone idea, and then later on it could be looked at and be like, oh, that's why, that's the thing. I have a ton of unused ideas in my content bank where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let me go. But there's like some that just don't follow through because it doesn't align with me. It doesn't create aliveness within my body. It doesn't bring me that joy that it maybe did when it sparked. But maybe it's not right for me now. But later on, I'll read it and I'll be like, holy shit, that aligns with me now. It didn't align with me then, but it aligns with me now. And thank God I wrote that down. It happens to me all the time. And so I didn't see all the nudges and stuff. And so the universe was like, all right, we're going to give you big corrective action, right? There was a boop on the nose, a little slap on the cheek, a little punch in the face, a little, kick in the shin. And then all of a sudden she gave me the really kicker, which is the emotional part of it, where it made me go back to the feeling of insignificant and feeling like I'm not enough. When all of a sudden it really was much lower than my normal engagement has ever been. And I was just like, I see. I hear you. I see you. I understand. I see the error. I am going to look within. I'm not going to allow this to take me down. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to accept, alchemize, realign. And then I got a new download. And so you my friends, I just want you to hear this, see this, feel this, and really take it all in, that your chakras are the leading pathways to all of the alignment in life and business, all of the decisions you need to make, all of the actions you need to take. It will really be your roadmap. I hope this was so supportive and helpful. And if it was, please let me know. I love you guys. Repost, post it, tag me in your stories, tag me in the Mind of Reese or the Art of Reese. I love it all. We are still giving away some books and stuff like this for anybody that decides that they're going to do a rating either on Spotify or Apple or wherever you are listening to your podcast needs. And if you do, you just screenshot them. You can DM me, or if you post about them, that would be awesome. Share this with someone you think it might be helpful for. We're always trying to spread the love around here. I love you.